Stanley Cup?
Yeah. Against you. All the audios from Vietnam. Don't worry about Nick.
I honestly don't.
I think I have a problem. You know that feeling you get when you're trying to take action on something you've been wanting to do? It could be coming up with a new video or piece of content, starting up a new business idea, or trying to create a new health and fitness routine. Really doing anything you think that's going to create a positive change in your life. What's the first thing you typically do? I'll tell you what I normally do. Research into oblivion. Something I've been challenged with over the last few years and thinking a lot about lately is just getting started and how much impact there is on taking action. I've talked to a lot of content creators, friends, people on social media who are trying to start YouTube channels, start getting familiar with the camera, or starting their first business and challenging themselves to step out of their comfort zone. And it's very hard to take initial action on something that's new and unfamiliar. But lately I've changed my thoughts here, and I think there's a bigger challenge when it comes to overthinking ourselves out of taking action versus just taking action. The more you pay attention to social media, the more you understand there are two categories of people: the thinkers and the doers. If you're in the content space, you might be familiar with the phrase create over consume. Regrettably, I'd put myself in the thinkers category until recently. I don't believe being a thinker is a bad thing until you transition into becoming an overthinker. This stage is where you're trying to come up with the perfect plan for the best results. You're watching all the YouTube videos and researching the best strategy to start a YouTube channel. You're reading every article and book to find the perfect way to start your business, or you're asking every photographer on Instagram what the best starter camera is. When doing this, we're only really looking for the validation to tell ourselves we're good enough to start before doing any of the work in the first place. And ironically, I think we're using this as a tactic to distract ourselves from starting because we're too afraid to look like a beginner. And I'll tell you why this was me. In March of 2019, I published my first YouTube video and I took the first step of becoming a YouTuber. After months and months of research, watching some of the top YouTubers in the video, filmmaking, and photography space, I finally felt prepared to start. So I decided the first video I should make is a channel trailer introducing myself because I thought that was the right thing to do at the time. So I planned, filmed, and edited the video and published it, unlisted, where it still sits today. I was too afraid to press publish, and I started overthinking, was I any good? Was the video any good? Was it worth making the video? Did I look okay? Was the angles all right? Should I change my lens? Did I use the right camera? All the things that you're probably going through as well. Think about this. I took all the time and effort, all the research I had done, and made the video and never published it. And ultimately, because I started to think to myself, I'm not good enough to do this. And who am I to be making videos? Why does anybody care what I think? The main thing I want you to take away from this video is something that another creator told me who I would consider successful, is that this feeling really never goes away. You just get a little better at handling it each time. And to me, as someone who is trying to create more content and put themselves out there more and challenge themselves to do more hard things, that was reassuring. Now, when it comes to overthinking specifically, I want to share a few things that have helped me. First, the problem is rarely the problem. What I mean by that is that 99% of the harm caused in your head is by you and your thoughts. 1% of the harm is caused by the reality of what the outcome actually is. So knowing that, of course, your first videos, photos, or ideas are gonna suck. If you watched my last video, I started a coffee business that fell flat. If you knew me before the coffee business, I tried to spin up a photography, videography business, and I just used that as a way to make a little money on the side, but I never really made it in that space. But you have to understand that it's new, and the only way to get better is by taking action and learning from the results of that action. There's really no other way around it. We're all unique, and what works for me might not always work for you. I can give you recommendations and you can do all the research you want, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you and your unique situation. The only thing that's going to help you grow is by taking the tiny little step of action and using it as momentum for the next one. Secondly, most of the problems that you're going through are not going to be solved with more thinking or more overthinking. I thought I could find all the answers to my issues by doing more research, watching more videos, listening to more podcasts, reading more books. And while those things can provide you more insight in theory, nothing helps you understand something like the thing you're avoiding. Third, no amount of anxiety is going to change the past or the future. The only thing that you can actually worry about is here and now in the present. Asking yourself, what actions can I take today, here and now, versus wasting all of your energy, your mental well-being, and getting anxious about the movie that you're playing on the future of what could happen or what you could have changed in the past. And lastly, momentum is your most powerful asset. We can't reduce the amount of discomfort we face when starting something new, no matter how much you think you can. In the beginning, we have to voluntarily accept the short-term discomfort to accomplish the very thing we're avoiding. When we embrace that pain rather than run from it, it can transform us. Every day that we take a tiny bit of action, it can compound. And the nice thing is, when you start to lay your head down at night and be proud of where you are, versus getting anxious about the mental to-do list that you've racked up because you did nothing in the first place. And then the more proud of yourself that you are, the more that feeling compounds and the more you start chasing the discomfort because you understand the result that it's going to bring you. But all of the personal growth that I have today, from my relationships to my businesses to my content, is solely the result of getting up and taking action.